On the drums, on the drums. This is a quick video of me talking about me now having to prepare for this Led Zeppelin tribute band gig I have coming up in June. Kashmir is the name of the band, a Chicago area, the premier Led Zeppelin tribute. Again, it might be a private party, but for a bigwig. Where's my drum key? But I want to show you what I do to prepare for it. By and large, ultimately, it's stamina. It is. It's one of those things where you realize, like, wow, I'm about to play for 120 minutes. At the age of, I almost said 39, 49. We start with rock and roll, for the love of God. Rock and roll is the hardest song for me to play in Led Zeppelinville. At this point in my life, I don't know why. I'm doing something wrong. When I was younger, like in the early 80s, mid-80s, I used to be able to play along. I didn't use headphones then. It would literally blare out with the studio rock and roll, which is pretty fast. Listen to rock and roll, the intro. That intro, it even after it slips into the song, it speeds up a little. It's like... It's like that, okay? So, but live, the live version we do with Kashmir, or even I've done with Zeppelin tribute bands, is the Madison Square Garden 73, which really isn't that fast. But that 5 minutes or four, well, what, 3 3/4 minutes maybe? The song remains the same version. That takes a hell of a lot out of me, and it's at the front end of the set. After rock and roll there. This is a poor me story. The second song is Celebration Day, and we go into that as it would in the 1973 film, well, actually soundtrack. The original vinyl soundtrack is a little different than the soundtrack in the film when you watch Zeppelin on stage. And then subsequent, the song remains the same, even videos, although I don't know if the video... In the video, they didn't alter the performance at all from takes from other nights, but in the music, the later remastered soundtracks they did. But anyway, I'm talking about the first version of the vinyl or the first CDs you ever got of the song remains the same. So we do Rock and Roll, Celebration Day, into the Lemon song, which is kind of good, because then you get a respite. You kind of get the... Actually, I'd even do it slower, and there's a nice groove going, but you're like relaxing at that point. So after that, then we do, I think, the Wanton song. But then there's a little bit of a respite, because I think, respite. I think because we do, there's an acoustic thing in there at some point, thank God to Frank. I mean, maybe he does it intentionally. For the drummer, in my case, me, to relax there. But then we do... Actually, I think rock and roll comes, or not rock and roll, Moby Dick comes right in there. And, you know, that's a workout, too. You know, you got to at least probably, I usually try to give them 10 to 12 minutes total, okay? The song remains the same, Moby Dick. Actually, is relatively short, if you listen. It's 15 minutes, but that includes the front end and the back end, right? So then, after that, there's like 18 more Zeppelin songs. So my point is, let me get back to the task at hand. I got to get my stamina up. So the few things that I got to look at are your strengths and weaknesses. Well, my weakness definitely coming up to a gig like that, since I haven't played with Kashmir or a Kashmir, which would be 2 hours or 3 hours of Zeppelin out, like in full force. And before that was 8 years. Wait a minute, what was last year? 17? Yeah, 7 or 8 years. So I got to think stamina. That's just, you got to be able to play anything at all, even badly. So what I'll do for stamina is what I call the Bonham Engine. B-O-N-H-A-M. Look back at my videos, the Bonham Engine, John Bonham Engine. What I'm doing is I'm playing singles with all my things. My right hand is hitting at the same time as my left foot. My left hand's hitting at the same time as my right foot. And I'll just do that. I'll try to relax till I just get tired. Now this might go on for 20 minutes. That really gets you going, okay? But then you get like longer, it's like riding the treadmill. Literally, I've made videos on how drum kits should be an actual workout device in the home for everybody. I'll get back into that in another video. But really, that's a good workout. It's even-handed. It's like you're really on a treadmill. Plus, you're using, you know what it really is? It's like cross-country skiing, man. Look. Practicing your Moby. It's the same concept. But anyway, so we have my stamina. So then what I'll do is I'll immediately jump to the rock and roll, okay? So I'll practice this for a while, just as if the song's just going, like just the beat as if it's being played in repetition. It'll start out kind of wrong because I'm kind of playing it more like, which it's not, but I'm going to work my way into it. I mean, it is sometimes at various points. So watch. Now hang on. Of course, I'm not doing these because I don't do them well. I don't. Bonham had a technique where he did, well, like a French grip kind of thing. I can't really look at that. That's partly my tremor, but also partly I just still working on my left hand. So yeah. Except those ghost notes are really a lot more softer as executed by Bonham because of his technique and just skill. So what it's all right, buddy. So what I'll do is, eventually I will bring the left hand in a little I won't perform it that way with Kashmir, but it'll start out more exaggerated, then I'll try to bring the dynamics of the left hand down. What happens is once I start, personally as my strengths and weaknesses, start feeling, it's getting closer there, but what's happening is I'm tensing up. What I gotta do is just be like Bob Chill. I gotta be like Steve Gadd in the 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover video, which I think was filmed like for 10 minutes. It was like, all right, Steve, you ready? And then it's like, Steve, and he's like, right? It's awesome. But see, the point is that relaxation, however you achieve it, really, is so important because that's where you perform at your optimum. So, I might try to practice that as long as I can, but that's a specific practice for me really practicing the studio version of the song. Try to keep it up tempo, try to keep the left hand going there. But that also will work on my stamina for this gig coming up, but also the song itself. Like I really, unfortunately, even my right hand, like I said, even for the 4 minutes or whatever live when I do it with Kashmir, or I ever sit and do it, which I should start just doing by myself all the way through, I really just don't have a lot of endurance now. And again, I used to play along with the studio recording when I was younger, so I don't know. Anyway, but I'll get that back. And it is some kind of a molery or push-pull thing, which would be optimal. And you see actually Bonham do that. If you watch the song, it's the same. Look at, when they first come in, there's the shot of whatever, about 200 feet back from the stage, where you can look right at the stage. You see Bonham doing that, except it's pretty cool. So that's what I'll do, work on rock and roll. And I'll actually bring, in the studio version especially, I think he's really choking up here. You get a little more, but it also has that sound. You know, live it doesn't look like he's doing that. But so then rock and roll. Stamina, rock and roll. Then you go over certain things like, what is hard too, is at the end of rock and roll, when you have to do the... You know what I'm saying? I mean, by the end of rock and roll, man, there's been, and I'm not kidding, times where my left hand, especially on the front end, like that first gig I did last summer of the Kashmir that hadn't done a gig for 7 years, literally by the end of rock and roll, I was like, I was so out of, it was like I was fighting for my life, kind of. Because if you failed at that point, there'd be, at that time, honestly, at that outdoor gig, there were probably 500 or 600 people out there, at least. Everybody would have like, oh. And he has a YouTube channel too. He does? Oh, but look at his videos. He kind of knows what he's talking about. But he sucked at There's pressure there, right? All right, it's funny. Every gig I do with Kashmir or any Zeppelin tribute, it's going to be like a gauntlet. What if I actually suck? And people are like, exposed as a fraud. All right, so here we go. Okay? You get the... Right? Okay. So, let's see. I'll try to remember all the fills in Lemon's song. Because we built a studio version of Lemon. We got the gong on the front end. The funny thing about Lemon's song is that transition. It's so funny because when you hear him play it live, it's so like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. But on the studio, it maybe he was thinking of that when he performed it, but I always saw it as almost like a dotted thing. So seriously. So, all right, so then we go on Wanton Song. So out of nowhere, you're sort of warmed up, or I am typically, by Wanton Song. Is there a crash on the front end? Oh yeah, I guess there is. By then you're going. After Wanton Song, there's another song has been added. Oh, I know what it is. How many more times, for the love of God? So that's, yeah, you know, at the end you're like, I change it up a little sometimes under Frank when he's out there soloing. He hates when I do it, so I try not to do it. But sometimes I just find myself doing it. Not to torment him, but I guess he get bored. Although I shouldn't. I mean, in the sense, you know what it is, I'm ADD and I just zone out. So then some acoustic song, Moby Dick. Okay, play with the hands and everything. I got to make another one with me playing with the hands. Remember, you got to see Flutist on our other channel, Bonzology. George Flutist, he kills Moby Dick a couple times. The first clip I ever shot of him at Lane Tech High School, that's me shooting from the corner back there. He kills it, man. I don't do that bad a job, but in fact, I should deliver a Moby Dick at one point, just where I am with it. I should. It's a goal for me to do. And I should probably do it on these drums. I'll show up for a week or so, just to make sure I don't really... All right, so, Moby Dick, you're out of that. He used to go in... He used to not finish Moby Dick. He would go into... what was it? We go into something. Anyway, so let's just say it's a long show. It is. So I'm going to get that up. Get on up. Get it right. And I'm going to do that. Oh my God, I got to catch a train. So seriously. So this video's going up. So I guess that's pretty much it for the for my preparation. But again, I have to do it consistently. And again, I might do it for 3 days in a row. And then the fourth day, not really feel it. Remember, when you don't feel it going on, you can try and force a little bit, but if you still don't feel it, stop. Your body and brain need a respite, truly. And then the next time you go back down, you'll see you made improvements and stuff. It's like the breakout principle, except in a slightly different physical sort of fashion. More videos on the way. Thanks for watching. It's all right, Mox.